Welcome to the Psychology Undergraduate Student-Led Internship discussion. I am very excited to have you here today. Today, students will be discussing their internships with the Boys and Girls Club in Haverhill, Massachusetts, Shed Children's Campus in Andover, Massachusetts, Northeast Arc in Danvers, Massachusetts, and Merrimack College with the Admissions Office, Welcome Center, as well as Hopeful Journeys in Beverly, Massachusetts. All right, so first up, we have Sydney and Chris from the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All right. I'm Chris. I'm a junior with a major in psychology and a minor in education.
I'm Sydney. I'm also a junior majoring in psychology, and we do our internship at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Haverhill.
All right. So the Boys and Girls Club mission statement is to inspire and enable all young people, especially those who, sorry, the Zoom thing is blocking,
Sorry.
who need us most, to realize their full potential as productive, responsible, and caring citizens.
Okay, the population that's served is the youth of Haverhill. They're primarily ages 6 to 18. And then a Boys and Girls Club provides a safe place to learn and grow, ongoing relationships with caring adult professionals, and life-enhancing programs and character development experiences.
All right. So the staff roles at the Boys and Girls Club, there are a lot of different rooms with many different programs, such as the art room, the game room, and there's a gym. So each room kind of varies for what the responsibilities are, but the staff members typically watch over one specific room and direct whatever programs are going on in that room for the day. And staff are usually expected to take responsibility for the kids attending the program, as well as instill good values and lessons into them that they can utilize in everyday life.
So just a little bit about my supervisor. His name is Eric, and he's the director of the teen room, which is where I primarily work. A little bit about him is it's his first year at the Boys and Girls Club. He has a passion for animation and directing, which is really cool because he's able to incorporate that into his job. So he always does arts and crafts with the kids, and he'll draw with them. And his main purpose at the club is to teach kids to believe in themselves and to instill positive coping mechanisms that he wished that he had known when he was a teenager.
And my supervisor is Jessie Fainer, and she's 27 years old, and it's her second year at the Boys and Girls Club. And she formerly worked in higher education. It's always been her dream. And her passion is helping others and making a difference, especially younger children. And her purpose is to empower staff and the kids to reach their highest potential at the club.
So interns, for the role of an intern, interns can usually choose one room in program that they're interested in, and that's where they'll be assigned to work. They're usually provided a supervisor for that room that they're able to work with and collaborate with. Your responsibilities will depend on which program you get assigned to, but your main purpose is essentially to be a role model for the kids and just to be there to assist your supervisor with anything that they may need help with. So I work in the teen room, as I said, and some of my responsibilities include supervising the teens and being a resource for them, engaging them in different activities, and helping my supervisor with tasks that he might not have time to complete otherwise. So if he needs to leave the room or attend a meeting, then I'm there to oversee the room, and vice versa. And I also recently started teaching dance classes there, which is really exciting. This was something that hasn't been offered since COVID started, so all of the kids were really excited to be able to dance again. But I really liked that I was able to utilize something that I was interested in and incorporate it into my roles there. And the Boys and Girls Club is definitely always open to hearing new ideas and creating new opportunities for the kids.
And my roles and responsibilities at the Boys and Girls Club is that I assist with the homework room. And it's kind of what it sounds like. I help supervise the kids, and I help with any homework problems they might have, whether it's like English or math or like anything that they're struggling with at school. And we also do like arts and crafts sometimes on like lower key days. We like to plan like if it's like national like hot chocolate day, we did something for that. They love it when it's like animal days. And I also direct some of the activities that happen there. And sometimes we play games towards the end of the day. And we haven't had a chance to because there was kind of a supervisor shift in the middle of my internship, but we're aiming to do some like psychology exercises by the end of the semester, which I'm excited for. Just like positive thinking and reinforcement, and like how the kids can like take that and use that like outside of the Boys and Girls Club too.
So why we chose the Boys and Girls Club, so it was recommended to us by our field placement supervisor, but when we toured, I think we can both agree that we were just drawn to the welcoming atmosphere and just how friendly everybody was. And you could tell that all of the staff just really like loved what they were doing, and the kids loved being there. So overall, it's just a really great place to be.
All right. For potential challenges, sometimes it varies depending on where you are, but essentially not having that full like leadership position and like still trying to guide the children can be difficult because they definitely do challenge you sometimes, whether they mean to or not. So that's kind of a hurdle that you have to get over, especially when you first start there. They like love to interrogate you. But forming bonds with the kids is also like hard in the long run because like just knowing that you have to leave one day kind of like sucks because it's like you have like they ask like where you're gonna be, like are you gonna stay, so like I hate having to be like, oh, like one day, but it's like worth it in the long run though.
And then what we like most about it. So we really like getting to know all of the different personalities of the kids and learning how to interact with children of all ages and backgrounds. We also feel as though it allows us to gain experience with a unique and diverse population that will prepare us for potential clients in the future. Because both Chris and I are interested in pursuing like therapy and clinical work. And I already feel like I've experienced so many moments that have really taught me a lot. And there have been a lot of situations that like I personally had to navigate that I feel like would really benefit me in the future. So even though it's not the most clinical setting, there's still a lot to learn, and it will definitely help to prepare you for whatever career you end up choosing. That's it.
Thank you guys. Great. Okay, so next we have Faith and Caitlin, and they are going to talk with us about Shed Children's Campus.
Okay, I'm just getting my thingy to share my screen. Where is it? I just had it up. Here it is. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so Faith and I both intern at Shed Children's Campus. It's in Andover, Mass. And for how Chris and them did it, are we supposed to like tell our majors and everything and all that?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, I'm Caitlin, and I'm a junior, and I'm a double major in psychology and criminology.
Great.
And I'm Faith. My major is psychology, and then I have a minor in education. And I'm a senior.
So, kind of just said this. The organization, it's Shed Children's Campus, and it's located at 65 Phillips Street, Andover, Mass. And this is a picture of the playground and a picture of the building itself.
So the school's mission statement is to help children discover their natural curiosity through exploring their environment and mindfulness education, to encourage kids to grow within their education in a large aspect of exploring the world around them. So the school, what mindfulness is if you see in the left corner, they're practicing yoga. So it teaches kids like how to feel their emotions and kind of like be in the moment when they get overwhelmed, because the majority of the population during the day is preschool age children, and they run on learning about curiosity, like I said. So they have to spend at least 30 minutes outside in a day to find things like sticks, or they have like a playground, and it helps them to navigate the world through curiosity. So the role of the staff is you really want to be a positive, enlightening person and mentor for the students to explore their surroundings, to educate children, like I said, in the state of mindfulness, so they get to express their emotions that they feel instead of getting upset, and it helps them build their relationships with the peers around them. And so at SHED, you can either be an intern, and that can grow into being like one of the main educators, and then the coordinator to the executive coordinator. So the executive director, she started when SHED was a nonprofit in 1982, and she was originally the coordinator, so getting things together. So that could either be like someone who's in a director role or teaching or co-teacher. And then she grew to the executive director, and this is just a little bio about her that's on the website as well. And then my personal director is Karen, and she started in 1997, and she originally worked as like a head teacher at another preschool, but she wanted to go for her bachelor's. So as she was focusing on like childhood education and special education, she was taking those classes at night. So she got to work as like a co-teacher in one of the classrooms during the day and the after school program. And now she is one of the directors. So she like oversees the interns, as well as helping out in all the classrooms if they need extra hands on deck or an extra teacher.
So my director, I can't even, oh goodness. Her name's Dina Hurley, and she's been with SHED since 1992, and she joined the team. Picture covered some of my text. She got her bachelor's in human development with a concentration in child life. Sorry, I didn't realize that the picture covered some of my text. And she began her career in education as a teacher at SCC. So like I said before, the role of the intern is having a positive attitude, and your position could range from like just being in a classroom with two other teachers and like being extra support, playing with the kids, to being in the classroom co-teaching. So that would be with one teacher. So you could be helping them with like rug discussion. So that would be like months of the year, days of the week, numbers, and like telling a story as well. When they do circle or rug time, they practice mindfulness. So this could be like stretching or like getting like more energy out by like dancing, stuff like that. And these are like me and Faith, we've kind of had different experiences with like what we've done. So I mostly like hang out with the kids and play with them, and I read them books, color, talk with them, do puzzles, and show them pictures of my dogs and cats when they're upset and whatever else they want to do. And I'll help the teacher like clean up, Like if I have to walk a kid to the bathroom, comfort them, and open their snack. Like every teacher is kind of different. So some of the teachers give the interns more of a like independence in what they're doing. Like for yesterday, I was working with this one teacher all day, and I asked her some questions about something, and like she told me what to do. So she like kind of gave it to me to do, like not reprimand this kid, but like direct him in what he shouldn't be doing. These are some pictures.
Yeah, so these are kind of shows mindfulness. If you look at the far left picture, this was in one of the classrooms I was in for a while. So they were collecting recyclables to build a castle. So it kind of goes into that whole like mission statement of like curiosity. They can make play whatever they believe it to be. So like the little girl's playing with the baby doll and she could pretending like it's like a house, or like they could bring Legos in there and pretend it's like a castle and they're storming the castle. But yeah, and then the middle picture is kind of showing like what they would do for mindfulness, because they don't use electronics that I've been around in the classroom, which is kind of different from my other school internships where they are very heavy set in electronics, but they more so use like organic things in the classroom. And then the responsibilities of an intern at SHED, the duties of our position is to entail being a role model to the children, providing an example of person with a positive mindset. Having a mindfulness state means obtaining optimism while seeing others' perspective. The position also entails being a guide and a person that a student feels comfortable around, teaching them to learn new things every day. They in turn can make the students feel accepted and loved no matter the child's situation. The student should feel like they know that the teacher will be there for them and help them grow in discovering new information experiences. My role, or our role at SHED, is kind of being like another companion, which is like as little as it seems of like doing puzzles or like playing with them. It's important if you are like if a student isn't listening, to not get frustrated, but like to be, like I said, like a mentor and like understand that the child is like still learning and growing, and that you can teach them like how to grow in their emotions and like teach them how to pay attention in class while supporting who they are as a person or student.
So the reasons why we chose SHED, I didn't put the main reason why I decided to go with SHED. It was because they were the only internship place that got back to me. They're very good at responding to emails. So if you're looking for someone who's really good at responding to emails, I highly recommend them. And mainly another reason, which is more like real reason, is I love working with kids. I've worked with kids pretty much my entire life. My mom is like a nanny, and she worked for this one family for like, I want to say like 8 or 9 years, a very long time. So, the youngest two I've known their entire lives, and the oldest I've known since she was 10 months, and she turned 13 in December. So like we'd go to work with her sometimes. And then I have younger cousins, and my cousin really trusts me, so she lets me babysit her kids from time to time. So I don't know, I just really like kids. So that's why I chose SHED.
And then I chose SHED because, like I said, I have a minor in education, and I want to go to grad school at Merrimack next year for school counseling. And I like the like early education age range, just because the students at this age are like very impressionable, or like 1st through 8th grade are very impressionable, and I feel like you can make a difference. And even though you're in a classroom with like 8 or like 10 students, you are able to work with them one-on-one, and kind of like you get a better idea of how like their social life is. And yeah, I really like this age group.
So what do we enjoy most? I enjoy like building the connections with the kids. Like I went in on Monday this week and on Tuesday because I have to make up a bunch of hours. And I was in one classroom. I've been in this one classroom a lot. And like the first time I was in there, I didn't build a connection with kids. And then the second time it was completely different, like me and the kids clicked. But Monday I was in this classroom, and then yesterday I was in this classroom as well. And I walked in yesterday and the kids were like, Caitlin, like all so excited to see me. It was like probably one of the highlights of working at Shed so far. So I don't know, it just made me feel really special. So that's what I enjoy most.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Caitlin. It's making the connections with the students because they are very genuine, and like if they like you, they like you, and if they don't like you, they'll let you know, but usually they like you because you're just like another adult to play with. But yeah, making the connections and knowing that you're like making an impact in their lives, kind of like how Caitlin just said when she walked in the room, and like they actually care about you. It's just like so nice to feel that relationship. And as like you go in, and like I've noticed like since I became more confident, like you get to gain like a better relationship with them if they're having like a bad day because something happened at home. Like it's easier to talk with them and help them like overcome situations like that.
Some more pictures.
Yeah, and these are just kind of like another picture of like the summer program of them doing mindfulness, and then just like a couple of cute pictures without showing their face of like how you feel when you have a connection with them.
So challenges we face. It's kind of hard to like know your place. Like for me personally, like what you can and cannot do, and like when the kids are misbehaving. And I've faced this challenge quite a few times. And sometimes the teachers are like, oh, were you allowed to do this? And I'm like, I'm not sure. They never really told me what my boundaries are. But like how I was saying yesterday was earlier. I mean, yesterday was probably one of the hardest days I've ever had. There was this one kid, he would not listen to the teacher or me, and it was really bad. So like, I wasn't sure what to do in that circumstance because I'm like, I'm not his teacher. I'm just an intern. I don't want to like overstep. So how I was saying something about how I asked the teacher what to do, she said, oh, do this, like kind of like coax them and whatever. And one teacher told me once, because like I said earlier, every teacher is different. So some teachers give you more of a free range to do like more, like you can step in more. Like this one teacher once told me, when I've always been like, oh, they're doing this, because I'm like, I don't want to overstep. And the teacher was like, oh, the way I do it is if they're acting in a way that when a parent walks in, they wouldn't want to see the kids acting like that, to like step in.
And then for me, the challenges for me was being able to babysit or like being around kids this age. I thought it was like, I felt like I was going to be confident from the beginning, but it's different. Like I said before, when you see them in their social situations with peers at this age, especially because they have like such a egocentric way of thinking. So they'll get in a lot of like little arguments. So at first that's a little bit overwhelming, but once you keep going, you get used to it, and like you gain more confidence in like what your position is there and how to diffuse situations between like sharing and like if someone's excluding another student. Usually that doesn't happen because they're so young though.
And that's our presentation.
Great. Thank you both so much. Okay. Next, we have Sarah. And actually, I'm going to share my screen with Sarah's presentation.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. So my name is Sarah Simpson. I am at Merrimack College. I am currently interning at Northeast Arc. It's in the Liberty Tree Mall in Danvers, Massachusetts. So my role in Northeast ARC is interning in their STEP program. This program helps connect adult clients with autism with jobs, as well as helping acquire life skills for the workforce and in life in general. My specific role is working with our clients, doing activities and programs such as cooking club, karaoke, trivia, money management, field trips, improv, dance club, game club, walks, coloring, arts and crafts, nutrition, health, and much more. The age group I work with is between 21 and 60. And right here in this photo, you can actually
Oops, sorry.
you can actually see two of my clients. On the right, we have Chris, and then on the left, we have Humphrey. And then we have one of my colleagues, Sylvia, and they're all very great, and I have a lot of great experiences with them. I could go on.
Great.
And so here we have Northeast ARC's mission statement, which is the Northeast ARC helps people with disabilities become full participants in the community, choosing for themselves how to live, learn, work, socialize, and play. And then the Northeast ARC was founded in 1954 by parents of children with developmental disabilities who wanted to raise their sons and daughters as full members of the community. Today, they serve approximately 15,000 people in nearly 190 cities and towns. The goal of Northeast ARC is to ensure that the children and adults with disabilities are able to live, work, engage in civic life, and play in the community. Working toward the goal of offering a wide variety of programs, including autism services, day habilitation, deaf services, early intervention, employment services, family support, personal care assistance, recreation, residential, and transition services. So the program I'm a part of has staff members that organize activities and supervise clients. We also have staff to help our clients settle into jobs. We have art classes, assisted living. There are many more staff roles. There's many layers to the organization. I am just talking about the STEP program because that's what I'm familiarized with. And then this is my supervisor. My supervisor is Terry Williams, the program director of STEP. She supervises everything is running smoothly. She also does the hiring and adding clients to the program. My personal experience with her is she's very good at communicating. She'll pull me aside, make sure I'm getting everything out of the internship I want to get out of it, and just communicate about our future plans within the internship or potential job opportunities. So now we're looking at my role as an intern. My role as an intern is very similar as the staff, which is helping organize activities, making sure clients are behaving, being safe, watching their safety, helping in activities, as well as teaching them skills on how to better handle situations and regulate their emotions. As people with autism have higher rates of medical and mental health problems, they have had a hard time managing these challenges alone. That being said, autism is a spectrum, and clients are either very high functioning or vice versa, or somewhere in between. So I chose Northeast ARC because I went in for my interview and I learned more about the program and I loved everything about it. To be honest, this actually was not my first choice. I actually was really interested in the Boys and Girls Club, but then when I went in for my interview at Northeast ARC, I fell in love with it. I want to be a clinician, so I thought that I would have a lot to learn about autism as it's something I don't have a lot of firsthand experience with or education on. And I have learned so much since I've been there. I definitely think it's something you need firsthand experience with to fully understand. And then some challenges I've had within my internship is patience. There's definitely been some days where I have not gotten as much sleep as I need, and this internship is definitely something where it requires probably almost all of your energy when you're there. I mean, you'll have a client like 2 inches away from your face talking to you like nonstop. I mean, they don't have boundaries really, which is another thing. You have to set boundaries, physical and like conversational boundaries. They don't really understand. There's a lot of awkward interactions that you learn how to deal with. The first few times it might be a little awkward for you, but then you kind of learn how to deal with them, and honestly, it's not awkward for them at all. Knowing how to act, talking about or talking with people with disabilities can be a challenge in itself, and you just really learn from experience and getting comfortable within the community. And then getting to know the clients at first, they may be hesitant or even talk to you. But once you're there for a while and they get to know you, get comfortable with you, you form really great connections. I mean, they're like family to me. I love going in every day. I mean, They are always so happy to see me, and they always tell me about their life and welcome me with hugs, and it's awesome, honestly. And another challenge is it can be emotional. Like I said, there's a lot of mental health and physical health issues that come along with autism. I know one of my clients is definitely struggling with physical health. She's supposed to only have a few more months, which is definitely something hard for me to watch. And also just dealing with the emotional regulations, like they'll throw tantrums and freak out or like not listen to you. And you just really have to know how to react and understand, which you can only really learn from firsthand experience with other staff members.
Great.
And then what I have gained from my internship, from this internship, I have walked away with so many things. I have made new friends and connections with both staff and clients. I have also learned so many things that you can only learn from experience, as well as a better understanding of the autism community. And lastly, I walked away with a job offer with the program I work in. So that was really cool. I had that talk with my advisor, and we just talked about what would work between us. And like I said, I have grown really close with my clients. I think they've definitely gotten used to me being around. Like I'll come in and they're like, I was really hoping you'd be here before I come in today. They'll tell me about their days. I'll even like sometimes like some of them have my number. They'll text me and say they miss me. It's just it's a great experience, and I'm really glad that I became a part of this internship and got to know the staff as well. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. Awesome. All right. We might need to hear more about that job offer when we get to questions. Okay, next we have Abby.
Can you see my screen?
I cannot. There it is.
Okay. Okay, so I'm Abby. I'm a psych major here at Merrimack. I'm a junior, and for my internship, I'm working at the admissions office at Merrimack College. So it's located in our city, which is called the Welcome Center. So it's right next to Crow when you get onto campus. For the admissions office, it helps get students interested in applying to Merrimack by like showing them all different aspects through videos and tours. So the roles for the staff at the Welcome Center is providing tours, doing info sessions, advertising for events, setting up the events, flying out to different parts of the world to do college fairs, going over all the application and doing interviews. So there's 2 admissions offices, and I'm at the one in the Welcome Center, but there's also another admissions office down by like Stop and Shop on Turnpike Street, and that admissions office does all the application process and like reviews applications, and they're also the ones who fly out to different parts of the world. Each admissions officer in the office down the street has like a section of the world that they're covering. So like South America, one person will have, and they'll go fly out to like different parts and do all these college fairs and get people interested in. But where I'm at, students will come to us and we'll advertise the school through all different types of stuff like videos. And so Alyssa Zaruko is my supervisor. She just started here, I think it was in November. So she's in charge of all the interns and the admissions, the ambassadors, and she's like in charge of keeping us busy and like giving us projects, as well as help planning and getting ready for events. This week we have Admitted Students Day, so we're all getting prepared for that by making all folders and goodie bags for students coming in, and there's all different type of things that we do during Admitted Students Day, and like tours. So she's in charge of all the ambassadors and the interns there. I also work with Gwen. She's the person at the front desk when you walk into the Welcome Center. She directs you all around our city, and she checks people's in for tours. And then I also work with Brittany a lot. She's also doing her grad school here at Merrimack, and she's the admission counselor for visitor services. And then Sarah Bird is also in the office. I don't work with her as much, but she's also very nice. She's the assistant director of admissions for visitor services and events. So the role I have as an intern is to conduct interviews. So students will come in and do interviews to get into help boost their resume and like their application to get into Merrimack, and then I'll have to grade them on their interview and write a report and submit it. And then I also do virtual info sessions, which are just presentations that normally you have before your tour, but since COVID, they've been doing virtual ones. So I present and show some videos just giving information about Merrimack. And then I'll cover the front desk and check people in for tours and give them their like goodie bags with like information about Merrimack. And then I just help prepare for events. There's just a lot of work that goes into setting up for all the events at Merrimack, especially the Admitted Students Day. And there's, I think, like around 5 or 4 this semester. So why did I choose to do an internship? I was interested in this potentially as a job after college. So I thought, why not get a nice feel for it now and get my foot in the door. And if I don't like it, then I don't have to do it, but might as well get the experience. And also, it's so much easier to do it at your own school, just because you know all about your school, as well as it's also just 20 times easier to commute because you just have to walk down the street. And then what do you like most about it so far? Personally, I like how I can see how excited the new incoming students are when they get accepted, and like they're very eager on asking questions. And I just think it's awesome that I can help people with like the process of transitioning. And I know that's a really hard process, and very hard but exciting process, from transitioning from a senior in high school to living on your own in college and making all new friends, and just any way that you can help the transition, as well as just get them excited to go to Merrimack. Why did you choose this internship placement? Just because I want to do an admissions office, and I thought because I know Merrimack, I've been to Merrimack, I can give my own personal opinion on stuff. My personal like experience as well, like, and help people get involved. And it's just a lot easier to be in an admissions office if you know a lot about the school already. What are the challenges you or other students who may want to go there face? It's hard just like knowing all the answers that incoming students ask, because they're very eager and sometimes they're asking like random questions that you just don't know, but it's just hard to be that knowledgeable. But there's always someone there to help you, which is nice. Everyone's friendly where I do my internship, and everyone's always helping you if you don't know the answer, so it's nothing to worry about. But just being so knowledgeable for any random question someone asks is probably the hardest part that you face in my internship. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Okay, and last but not least, we have Sarah.
Hello, everybody. All right, let me share my screen. And my laptop is brand new, so it's not happy with me wanting to share my screen. Very sorry about that.
Okay.
Let's try it again. There we go. It should be working now.
Okay, great.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, love when things work. All right, so my name is Sarah. I am a senior psychology and English double major, and my internship is at Hopeful Journeys. It has a very long mission statement, so I promise I won't read everything. I'll go through it pretty quickly, but I would like to read our mission part. Hopeful Journeys' mission is to provide quality and individualized education to children with autism spectrum disorders and other developmental disabilities. We strive to build better futures for children and families by helping them reach their fullest potential and enabling them to live more productive and independent lives. So Hopeful Journeys uses applied behavior analysis, otherwise known as ABA, and that just creates a very highly structured environment that includes positive reinforcement, errorless learning, prompt feeding, and discrete trials. And this is a really good way to do this because it can be individualized to every single student, because every student at Hopeful Journeys is so different. And they work to do academic, social, vocational, and behavioral needs of children aged 3 to 22. And it's a longer school year than typical. It's an August to July school year with various breaks. So they work one-on-one with the students and also the parents to come up with goals that work for their students. Some students have different goals dependent on their independence level and the goals of their student. For example, I have a student who specifically, she is not going to learn to use a zipper because of safety reasons. So it's important for everything to be very individualized per student. It's a very large building, 40,000 square feet. There are a lot of different classrooms, cardio, motor rooms, and a gymnasium, art and music room, computer labs, and also, of course, a bunch of academic classrooms. And so these are all different locations for the students to learn, whether it's motor or academic, things like that. So the client population is with students with autism spectrum disorders and other developmental disabilities. These students are very low functioning typically, but throughout their time at Hopeful Journeys, they become more and more independent. And the age range is 3 to 22, although I have seen students up to the age of 25. And here's a couple of pictures. I couldn't find a lot of pictures just for client confidentiality reasons, but these were on the website and they're cute. So there are a lot of different staff roles at Hopeful Journeys. First, we have board certified behavior analysis that are in charge of each individual classroom, of which there are 8. There are 4 downstairs, 4 upstairs. The 4 downstairs are typically like younger students, and then older students are upstairs, as well as those with more challenging behaviors are also upstairs. There are also special education teachers, otherwise known as SPED teachers, who create IEPs and different academic goals for the students. There are also certified speech and language pathologists and occupational therapists, as well as specialists in feeding, vocation, and physical therapists. for each need, because every student may have different health issues, as well as their developmental disabilities. And last but not least, there are one-on-one teachers, which is your role as an intern. So as a one-on-one teacher, you're typically paired with 2 or 3 students as an intern, and you work with the SPED teachers and follow curriculum guidelines created by the BCBA and the SPED teachers. This can be teaching them how to use scissors, teaching them how to spell, and other things like that, teaching them to wash their hands, and then they can get more complicated and more complex the higher levels you go with them. You also take a lot of data as a one-on-one teacher. So this is all of the academic data, how they're doing, and the incidental data. So teaching them to stop when you say stop, or like their independence, if they're able to say hi without any prompting, stuff like that. So my supervisor, her name is Jill Mengel. She's worked at Helpful Journeys for 11 years, and she got her bachelor's and master's in education and actually stumbled into this profession, which is actually a lot of stories I've heard of people stumbling into ABA and loving it. She's in charge of all of the downstairs teams, so she organizes what students would be the best with each other in the same space that they occupy, different IEPs and stuff like that. So I chose this internship because it provided a brand new perspective on psychology. I knew nothing about ABA going into it. And also the fact that you got to work directly with the students was really nice. I wanted to really get involved in my internship, and this is the perfect place to do that. Some of the challenges that you face, that I faced especially, are at the beginning. This is an internship that can feel very overwhelming. There's a lot of training involved, including training for if you have to touch the students in any way. I'm totally blanking on what it's called at the moment, but restraint training, that is what it's called. So if any students are having difficulties, if they're flopped on the ground and you have to bring them to a different location for safety reasons, et cetera, et cetera. It is also positive reinforcement, which means you do not use the word no as much as you can. So that was a definite challenge, and juggling learning new students and taking so much data was definitely a challenge, but it got easier as you go and you have so much support in doing so. It is very fast paced, especially since you're switching students throughout the day, and you're constantly learning what their new academic goals are. So you learn along with the student, just like they learn who you are, you learn who they are, and you bond with each other. And the restraint training was something that I did find challenging at first, especially since it's something that sounds scary, but it's not something that's used super often. It's mainly to protect yourself and the student if anything physical happens, and getting used to walking with the student includes either holding their hands or putting them in a passive, which essentially is just your arm around them and your hips connected to make sure they can't bolt. So that was a hard thing. However, working directly with the students and constantly getting feedback from everyone around you, in which you are never completely alone with the student. unless you are like in the motor room by yourself. There are always teachers around you that can help you, give you like ideas, because if things are happening, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a really, really supportive environment. So best things about this internship: individual work with the students, really bonding with the students is really, really nice. And the students really start to like you as well. You become buddies. I call multiple of my students my best friends. Firsthand experience with ABA. This is something I found in my psychology major that I haven't really learned much about. So being able to learn ABA firsthand is really awesome. There are, of course, as I said, constant feedback and help from your team of constantly finding ways to improve. Bonding, of course, with not only your students, but the team around you, and real life skills. So therapeutic skills. I just got recertified in CPR and first aid thanks to my internship. And they're always teaching new things that you can apply to the real world. So if you are interested in this internship, you can email Roxanne Zulo. She is in charge of all the staff and stuff like that. Something that I realized I didn't put in this presentation until now is that this is a paid internship, which is always a plus. Obviously the experience is the main point of it, but that's a cool thing too. So if you're interested, email Roxanne. She's the nicest, sweetest person in the world. And yeah.
Great. Thanks so much, Sarah. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen one more time. And again, I have questions for all of our students, but I am hoping that other people here do too. So if you do have questions, please let me know. But I am going to now ask the students questions. So we have some I know that are ready to answer. So my first question is, what made you decide to do an internship? And I know that that first one is going to go to Sarah, Abby, and Faith. So whoever would like to jump in first.
I can.
Sure.
I wanted to do I wanted to do an internship this semester because I already did one over the summer, which is kind of similar to Sarah Dobbins' internship now, working with kids with intellectual disabilities. And I realized that I liked working in those like educational setting and school setting. And because like psychology is such a broad major to have, it's really important to get internships so you know like what you're learning in the classroom like at school and college looks like. So I wanted to see what it was like to work with kids at this age level, because it made me realize that I like working with this age group, and it also made me realize that I'm better at working with kids one-on-one than in a classroom. So it made me more confident to pursue school counseling, so working with kids one-on-one.
Great. Thank you.
I can go. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you can go first.
Okay. So why did I decide to do an internship? I was just interested in doing admissions like after college, just for like a career path. So I thought, why not do an internship and see if like I actually truly like do enjoy it and see myself doing this in the future. So I just thought it'd be a good way to experience it and see if that's something I wanted to do for my career.
Absolutely. Great. And Sarah?
I decided to do an internship because with every single conversation I've ever had about the future, I've learned that experience is the most important thing. One, to discover, what you like and you don't like, and also, it's a real resume builder, as opposed to like just saying you got your degree. Being in the real world really can help your chances with getting hired in the future.
Absolutely. And I think it's great. A couple of you, touched upon this idea of, I think this is what I'm interested in. Let me try it and figure it out. That is the exact reason to do it. And then also too, what you're saying, Sarah, is I know I need to get experience. I want to be able to put some more things on my resume. I know that I need to really build this up to understand what my next steps are. So those are all really, really good reasons to do an internship. So great reasons, great advice to anyone who is listening. So the next question is, what was your process? What was this process for getting an internship? What was, one of the first things that you did? So for this question, we've got Chris, we've got Sarah and Sarah. So both Sarahs and Chris.
I can do it.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was meet with you.
Right.
And it was really helpful because like you were able to like kind of set the stepping stones a little bit.
Yep.
And like throw like places that I've never heard of and like opportunities that like I didn't even know I could intern at. Like Boys and Girls Club was one of the new ones that I like didn't even think about. And like just hearing and like you have experience yourself with a lot of these internships through people interning there. So like just hearing that and just getting that information really helped. And like, so I'm happy that I like met with you first because it helped me like build my confidence for choosing one and getting one. Because like hearing from the internships themselves is one thing, but like hearing it from an outside perspective on everything was really good.
Absolutely.
And then after that, it's kind of like, then it's like in your hands after that.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to be motivated and you have to start like emailing, asking around, scheduling meetings or interviews. And you just have to, like everything else you have to do on your own, which like I think was good in the long run because like when I got my internship, I was like, okay, like I got my internship.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Who's next?
I also talked to Katie first. So great resource. The first thing I did in getting an internship is I just emailed as many places as I could, essentially saying, hi, introduce myself, saying, hi, I'm really interested in an internship with you for this semester. And, just starting that first line of communication, I think is the most important thing because it makes the places go, oh, this is someone who is interested and willing to reach out. And that just gets the ball rolling, essentially.
Absolutely.
I also met with Catherine and went over everything, like, and all the internship opportunities. And then I wrote down all the ones that piqued my interest and did a little background research on them. I think it's important to show that you actually looked into it. Mm-hmm. And then I would write like a light cover letter and why I'm interested and send out a bunch of emails. The more emails you send out, the more responses you're going to get back. And because you want to make sure you enjoy your internship because it's going to be a lot of your time in the week. So
absolutely. So the running theme is come and talk to me or come and talk to Stephanie because we can kind of give you some ideas because we don't expect you to know what to do. We want to give you some tools, give you some ideas, have a conversation about it. And then, like Chris said, then it's really in your hands. We're always here to help and support and guide more, but this is your experience. So each of you did a great job of then getting all the materials together, resumes, sending out emails. And like both Sarah said, getting in touch with as many people as possible and doing the work and research to really make sure you've got choices. That's the biggest thing. You want options. So the more people you reach out to and the more research you do, the more options you'll have. And most likely the better opportunities and experience there will be for you. So That's the biggest thing. You're not doing it by yourself. You're not alone, especially right off the bat. You've got some people here to support you, and now you've got some more resources because there's people that are doing it, and you can listen to their experiences and then come talk with us about it. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so what was the most challenging part about finding an internship? So we've got Caitlin and Sydney who are gonna shed some light on that a little bit.
Oh, it's kind of funny that you said shed some light when I go to shed.
Yeah.
The hardest part about finding an internship for me was no one would respond to my emails. So that was really hard. I feel like you have to hound them with emails, which really stinks, but it's what you got to do in order to get them to respond. And also, I don't drive. I don't have my license yet, and I don't have a car. And so I needed one that was close enough that like Ubering isn't that expensive. And like if my friends, because I have 2 friends who I live with, they both have cars. So sometimes they can pick me up and, you know, it's just, it had to be close enough.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part, was finding one that was close to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Sydney.
So I feel like the most challenging part was like the idea of it. Because I feel like it was like really overwhelming at first to like think about like applying to like several different internships and having to do like cover letters for all of them, and then like the interview process was very like anxiety inducing for me. But I discovered the idea of it is definitely more overwhelming than like the idea is more overwhelming than like the actual process is. So like I think I put it off for a while because I was like really nervous just about like doing the work and like starting it and like being in it. But like once you actually like start doing it, like you realize that it's really like not that bad at all. And then like once you're in it, like you're good.
So both of these are great things to think about. So logistically, thinking about what can I actually do? So can I physically get to a place? Do I need a car? Do I even have a car? Do I have my license? So thinking about logistics, how's it going to work? And also thinking about, you know, what do I do if I'm not hearing from people, and how do I navigate that? So, you know, having those discussions early and often is really my advice. And then thinking about all of those things is really important. And then also, I love that you brought that up, Sydney, because I feel like that's a lot of people, is like the idea of starting and the idea of even writing a cover letter feels daunting, that people don't even want to start. The idea of going on an interview feels so scary that they don't even want to do it, because like that's a scary process. So I'm just going to avoid it. And everybody does that. So that's why we can practice and we can talk about it, because once you do it, and once you do it a couple of times, it becomes less scary, because eventually when you graduate, you're going to be going on interviews, and whether it's for graduate school or for jobs, it's something that's going to be what you do. And so the more you're able to practice it, the less scary it gets. And now you've done it, and now you know it's less scary, and it's going to feel better every time you do it. So I love that you've said that, because hopefully people will hear it and think, oh, okay, I can do this. Because now when you do it again, it'll probably feel even better, you know? So that's great. Okay. So how do you feel the internship can really enhance, or has it already enhanced, your experience or knowledge that you've gotten from the classroom? And I've got Sarah and Sydney on that one. Oop, I skipped one, but I'll just go to that one and then I'm going to go back. Sorry.
So for that one, I think like I'm personally a very like visual learner. So like while it's like useful for me to like read chapters pertaining to like other people's experiences, like actually being able to like see it for yourself really helps you like grasp the concepts better.
Yeah.
'Cause it's easy to learn an idea, but like to actually like see them play out at your internship really helps to like understand the concepts a lot better. And it's just like always nice to be able to like make those connections and like recognize an experience that like you'd only like previously learned about like in a textbook.
Absolutely.
I also learn, I am a learning by doing kind of person, specifically learning by making mistakes. And there are plenty of opportunities to constantly grow in your internship. And getting new ideas. And I love like going back to the classroom and hearing about something and going, hey, like I heard of, like I experienced that. And just helping like bridge that gap is a really cool thing.
Absolutely. And similar sort of question to Sarah and Chris, have you found yourself making connections to what you've learned in the classroom, to what you're seeing at your internship site, and thinking like, oh, when I've sat in class in previous semesters or even this semester, I remember learning about this or thinking about this, and now I'm seeing it happen. And that's kind of cool.
At my internship, I definitely like see a lot of connections with like building relationships with the kids at the Boys and Girls Club and like utilizing some of those skills to doing so. And honestly, some like challenges that they might face or like some like mental health things that they like some of them are challenged with, like that we've learned in class. Like I see that, like I'm able to like notice it with some of the kids. So I feel like I can like use those skills and build those connections to like help them when I like need to.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the main thing is definitely like just building like relationships, which I've like been able to learn in class and like utilize those skills that I've been learning for my multiple years at college, and like applying them to that internship and just like in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've definitely made a lot of connections. I would say like definitely like if you've taken abnormal psychology or whatnot, I see a lot of relations between those two because like I said, with like people with autism, there's a lot of mental health issues like such as like ADHD, depression, anxiety, like Tourette's. Like there's so many things, and you see the DSM-5 requirements like for those things like through the people. I don't know. It's really cool to see firsthand, especially at such an extreme amount. So it's definitely cool to see, and definitely there's some things that you can only learn being in person and from watching staff members interact with.
Absolutely. And all four of you really touched upon that idea of like, it's so different seeing it in front of you versus just when you see it in a book, and doing that really hands-on work helps you kind of understand it in a different way, and it kind of helps it sink in differently. And I think you remember it and experience it in a way that helps you really get it, you know? So that was always my favorite part of doing internships when I was in school, because it just felt like it clicked. And that was what my favorite part was. So what advice would you give to other students who are thinking or planning on doing an internship? And we've got both Sarah's and Faith on this one.
I can start. I would reach out to as many internships as possible, and really be open-minded about like the kinds of internships. I personally am really interested in working in trauma. AV is definitely very different from that, but I found that like even though it wasn't something I was necessarily like looking for specifically, it can still like give you a lot of good experience. So being really open-minded about the types of internships that you're applying to, and be willing to give any of them a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can go next.
Yeah.
I would say a big thing that all of us I think can agree on is having patience going into every day
Mhm.
with our internships. Also just like it's a big time commitment as well with your schedule. I think more so than at least I know I was expecting. So it's definitely something to consider
Mhm.
when you're making your schedule around this class.
Absolutely. Faith.
Kind of like what I said before, try to find little like internships are supposed to be like the stepping stone almost to like what you want to do with your career. Or like if you are in a major like psychology that is broad, try to like do different things, or like do internships that like you have interest in. Like Sarah mentioned, she had like interest in trauma, so like maybe like go to an internship towards that, so that you can actually like see like what we've been talking about, like if you like it once you're immersed in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, and then everyone can comment on this one. Is there one thing that with the remainder of the semester that you're hoping to gain from your experience? And I can call out names if that's easier. Oops, Sarah, you unmuted.
I mean, I've already gained so much. I mean, I've had great, I honestly do. I have great connections within my internship. It's super welcoming all around. You just really have to, what you give is what you get. And I hope to stay there for my job. It's just working around my school schedule because I'm going to have to take on a client load.
Yeah.
And when I do that, I need a consistent schedule. So that's something I'm trying to work out with them, because I think if I do leave, it is definitely going to be hard and a little sad because I've definitely built some great connections.
Great. Right. How about Faith?
I would say this helped me gain like more confidence working in the educational field, and like I've been saying, like working with kids one-on-one. So at my summer internship, although I enjoyed it, I didn't really have that much confidence with the population I was working with. But I feel like this internship like gave me more confidence in where I want to go in life and like what population I want to work with.
Right. Caitlin.
I'm not quite sure what I hope to gain from it. I don't know. I'm just enjoying it for the most part. Just the long days of not getting paid, that sucks. But I don't know. I was hoping to was hoping with an internship to learn what I want to do with my life, but still have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. So that's cool.
That's okay.
Sorry if that wasn't like too informative. I don't know what I want to gain from it yet.
That's okay. You're still there. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Abby.
I would just say like gaining like experience, like overall just being that like one step ahead. Like say I did want to do admissions, now like I do have an experience in admissions, so it's also just you're the step ahead of like if you're applying, like you have experience already, and just seeing if you actually enjoy it, just the experience overall.
Thank you. How about Sydney and Chris? You guys can sort of go back to back.
Sorry. I would say probably just like learning more about like leadership. And like I said before, like the Boys and Girls Club, it's not like the most clinical setting, but like I don't think there's like a such thing as like bad experience. So I think like anything that I learn there, I'll be able to like utilize that. So just like experience of any kind, honestly.
For me, it's kind of, yeah, like kind of like the leadership thing, like what Sydney said. And also like a lot of the kids there are like low income families. Um, so it's kind of like that unique population of like people that we might have as clients in the future. So kind of like learning how like their minds work and like how to build relationships, what they like to do. Um, because like I find myself like interacting in different ways with different kids. Um, so it's kind of something that like I appreciate because I'm able to like be an outside factor in their lives, kind of. Um, and like I get to know them more. Like there's kids that come into my room like just to see me, and they even come like even when they're leaving, they stop in and say like bye. So it is a really rewarding experience, and I think I've just gained a lot of like how to interact with like children of that age group, and like how and there's like a lot of different age groups there. So like how varying age groups are, especially because I feel like it's rapidly changing nowadays. So being able to get that like experience present day is valuable.
Absolutely. Great. And Sarah.
I definitely, now that I've, been in this role as a one-on-one teacher for a while, I want to learn, more about like what the SPED teachers' responsibilities are, like what the BCBAs do, different stuff like that. So like asking them questions and, possibly asking the shadow them for a day, see what's different, and just gaining like more of a broad perspective on ABA is something I'm really looking forward to.
Great. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to take a minute and see if anybody has questions for everyone here. But if not, you've shared so much already. And I just want to say thank you to all of you because I really appreciate you sharing so much about your experiences. It's really great to hear about what you're doing. I think it's really impressive to hear just your willingness to go out and try something brand new in the midst of just your regular semester and doing all your other classes. But it definitely sounds like it's been worth it and it's been really rewarding in a lot of ways. So I appreciate hearing about it. And it's one of my favorite things about the semester is hearing from all of you. So thank you so much for sharing. And I will be proudly sharing this with other students to listen in and hear from you. And so thank you again so much. And I think that's it for our student discussion. Thanks for joining.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.